healthier food and more desirable meals for thousands of students. Students, parents, and health and nutrition partners working within the schools were not consulted with this decision, nor offered their input in the decision that was made in recent weeks. There are 20,000 students affected and their parents, and almost all of them are unaware that when they come to school this fall, their schools will not have full-service kitchens and food service staff. Those who saw the Philadelphia Inquirer page 1 yesterday will know that, but the great majority they will not. I'm going to limit my remarks to the policy and financial aspects of this in the few minutes I have. Ms. Rachel Cahill from Drexel University will speak to some of the nutrition health aspects. My young friend here, Seth Brown, who is a youth wellness advocate with PUFFA, will speak to his personal experience in schools. And finally, a few minutes from Lisa Mull from Food Trust in closing. I'd like to address our most important concern, which is that we think in the assessment of labor-saving costs, and we understand that this is a terrible fiscal environment, and none of you really would ever want to make decisions that are being forced upon you. But our view is that what has not been considered in this decision is the reduction in meals participation, kids eating these meals as a result of going from full-service kitchens to pre-plated meals, and that this is a step backward, because one of the wonderful things about the school district, and particularly with Dr. Ackerman's leadership and Michael Mash and Wayne Gozella, creating almost a model for the country of advances in breakfast expansion and universal feeding, something that I worked on back and got going in 1990. This is a backward step. And we have looked at the school participation data, if I can just conclude, if I could, particularly in non-universal schools. And we've seen, if you look at page 3 of our statement, I'm going to give you a very short summary, there's a significant difference in meal participation rates in those non-universal schools when you compare the satellite pre-plated meal schools versus the full-service kitchens. In elementary schools, you have a daily participation rate of 73% versus 43%. And in middle schools, you have 56% versus 34% for full-plated, pre-plated meals. Those are significant differences based on data from the 2009-10 participation. When you translate those decreases in participation, aside from the nutrition aspects of that, health aspects, it has a monetary aspect. That would mean considerably less federal reimbursements, and we would estimate that with a 25% reduction, you may well be losing $1.5 million in federal reimbursements. There is a significant risk there, and we respectfully suggest that this was likely not considered in the rush to find cost savings, particularly labor-saving costs in this area. So I'm going to conclude my remarks by just also saying that this is an area, controversial area of pre-plated meals versus full-service kitchen. It has been such an area of serious concern that the school district has commissioned a study, which is underway right now, with the city health department, the school district, and the former USDA Deputy Secretary Shirley Watkins. And that study will look at the nutrition value, the freshness, the acceptability, how many meals are thrown out by kids who just won't eat them around these pre-plated meals. And we would suggest to you to hold off this decision until that report is done in December, January, so that you can better assess whether a further switch in 26 schools, 20,000 kids to pre-plated is really the wise way to go. I'm going to ask now Rachel Cahill from Drexel University to speak to some of the health nutrition aspects.
Hi, good afternoon. I just wanted to say a word for Drexel School of Public Health about our concerns about the hunger and health impacts that this decision to close the full-service kitchens is going to have. We think that the conversion to pre-plated meals is really a step back. We've really worked with food services to do a lot of progressive things, as Jonathan mentioned. Dr. Schulten is my boss, and her research has shown that in our city where 1 in 4 children are food insecure or hungry, and in the 1st congressional district where we're the 2nd highest in the nation in terms of hunger rates, we need to have an especially specific commitment to making sure that kids in these neighborhoods have access to good food. Our research shows that food insecurity has lifelong health and development consequences for children. And as Jonathan mentioned, many of us have partnered with the district to fight for the continuation of the universal feeding program. And we think that shutting the full-service kitchens is counterproductive to the goals of universal feeding, and that to make the school district meals program truly universal, schools must offer food to kids that they actually want to eat. The most concerning thing when we looked at the data that Jonathan mentioned is the difference in lunch participation rates between schools with full-service kitchens and schools using pre-plated meals. The difference is most significant in those non-universal schools. And that's problematic because that means that poor children in non-universal feeding schools will likely be most apt to suffer from this kitchen closing decision. If fewer students overall participate in lunch because it is less appealing, stigma becomes a greater issue for children who must rely on those pre-plated meals and don't have the option to bring something else. So overall, I just want to say that we agree with Jonathan's recommendation to wait until the study has come back about the nutritional content and the appeal of the food that's currently being undergone, and to think about whether this cost-saving measure is actually going to save any money in the long run, considering the federal reimbursement impact that could occur. And we'll turn it with that.
Good afternoon, members of the School Reform Commission. As you already know, my name is Seth Brown, and I am a rising senior at Parkway West High School and a PUFFA Youth Wellness Advocate. I attended Samuel County Elementary and Maya Middle School and have relatives who attend these same schools. Why are full-service kitchens so important? Full-service kitchens are important because the quality and presentation of the food is better, and this makes students feel special and appreciated. Within the schools, there are many problems with food served. These problems are more prevalent in schools that serve satellite pre-plated meals, where most of the food is often freezer burned, half cooked or half frozen, and generally unappetizing. Many of my peers who attend schools with satellite kitchens will tell you that they have skipped lunches because of the horrible conditions of the food. My classmates and I used to throw away school lunches because they did not appear safe to eat, or we just didn't trust it was good. We see and don't like pink cheeseburgers, pink chicken patties, and raw milk. Although they are not perfect, we need to keep the full-service kitchens that we have. We should do this because the lunches in full-service kitchens are prepared in a more professional way. The students who eat them feel more appreciated, and the quality of the food is much better. Full-service kitchens also offer increased portion size. If students are allowed to have seconds, they will be making sure that their bodies get the proper nutrients that they need. Excuse me for 1 minute. Okay, I'm sorry about that. No student should be hungry after lunch, and no student should be disrespected during lunch. A clear definition of a full-service kitchen is this: fresh and healthy foods served with fresh and healthy attitudes. Most importantly, schools with full-service kitchens, the students eat the food rather than throwing it away or skipping lunch altogether and going hungry. Thank you for your time, and we hope that you will restore the full-service kitchens in the 26 schools where you attend to cook. Thank you.
Next is Alyssa Moles, and I'm sorry that her name was listed incorrectly.
Good afternoon. I am here today representing the Food Trust in the hope that the School District of Philadelphia will reconsider its proposal to convert 25 full-service school kitchens to satellite service kitchens as a strategy for cost savings. While I understand the district is under enormous pressure to reduce costs, in the long run, converting these kitchens may end up increasing costs and will make the preparation of healthier foods like fresh produce and locally farmed products much more difficult. The Division of Food Services has been proactive in its work to improve meals, recognizing that our children deserve the very best and they should be commended for their tireless work in this regard. Unfortunately, they are struggling within their own budget to achieve this goal. As a result, the district has turned to lower-cost option of pre-plated meals. While they may meet minimum nutrition requirements, these meals are highly processed and lack fresh fruits and vegetables. They are also considered by many, especially the students, to be substandard in quality. Because of this, participation in the school meal program can drop when pre-plated meals are served. Lower participation means more children may fail to get the nutritious food that they need, and the district will lose vital federal meal program revenue, exacerbating the current budget shortfall. Across the country, there is a growing attention to the need for improving school food, incorporating fresh produce, and connecting school cafeterias to local farms. Full-service kitchens are the best facilities to achieve these goals, and it is in these kitchens where this district began piloting its fantastic farm-to-school program. Last year, collard greens, beautiful salads, roasted new potatoes, and baked winter squash were some of the farm fresh foods prepared and offered in this pilot at 25 district schools. We are concerned because many of the schools slated for conversion from full service to satellite service are located in some of our poorest neighborhoods here in Philadelphia, where fresh, healthy food is scarce. We feel that converting these kitchens to heat and serve operations is a step backwards in both the district's and the city's efforts to ensure city residents, and especially city children, have access to appealing and nutritious food. As an organization that works to increase access to fresh, healthy food, the Food Trust appreciates the great work that the school district is doing to improve school food environments. The district's full-service kitchens are assets that can only help continue the positive transformation of our city's full school food programs. We sincerely thank you for your commitment to our schools and our city's children, and hope that you will reconsider this proposition. Thank you so much.